in bad spirits. I'm Rebecca Lieb,
I'm Jason Horton.
and this is Ghost Town.
Spirit Halloween, known for its seasonal pop-up locations, has become a cultural phenomenon and a key player in the Halloween retail market. Each year, the company's stores appear in vacant storefronts across the U.S. and Canada, supplying everything from costumes and decorations to animatronic displays and accessories for Halloween enthusiasts. We all know about Spirit Halloween, right?
Absolutely. It is taken. If you don't know about it, you must be living in a place that is not overcome with consumerism. I see one in every corner.
Or all of the stores in your area just keep living on and are not gone from vacant stores to a Spirit Halloween.
Yeah. If you haven't
overnight.
had a Walgreens taken over the next day by a Spirit Halloween store, I want to know what city you live in.
In fairness to Spirit Halloween, yes, is it predatory? Yes, but they're not the ones who drove Sears out of business in order to make Spirit Halloween live, but it is kind of trampling over the graves
it's just
of
one
stores.
facet of a very large problem.
Yes.
It's not all their fault. It's partly their fault, but I mean, there's a lot of problems that's at work here.
And they're all going to get solved today.
Do it.
Spirit Halloween was founded in 1983 by Joseph Marver from San Francisco. At the time, Marver owned a small women's clothing store, but he saw an opportunity in the growing demand for Halloween costumes. Inspired by the success of a nearby costume shop, he decided to convert his store into a temporary Halloween outlet. That's part of it, right? It's like, do you need it year-round? No, but you do need it for a very short amount of time, very aggressively.
Absolutely, absolutely. And these are things that are transient in general. You're not going to keep these costumes for the rest of your life. You know, people want it quick, they want it now, and they do not want it forever.
The decision proved to be a hit. In its first season, Marver's Halloween store brought in more revenue in just 1 month than the clothing store had in an entire year. So these are, and it goes on today, the 6 weeks essentially that they kind of take over, they sell hard, and then they're gone. Is probably more money than the store would have been, whatever the store in its original incarnation, probably for the last 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's also Christmas themed stores, right?
Yeah, we do this a lot with different things, you know, and not even just, you know, like pumpkin patches. You know, they're seasonal things that pop up all the time that you kind of, I mean, even like tax preparers, you know, they work really hard for a specific amount of time, and then the rest of the time is much slower.
You couldn't wait to champion the tax industry.
Yeah, I know. I like to speak for them. If they can't speak for themselves, Rebecca Lieb is here to speak for them. You're welcome.
Seeing the potential, Marver fully committed to the Halloween business. He founded Spirit Halloween with the idea of opening seasonal pop-up shops focused entirely on Halloween merchandise, a relatively untapped niche in the retail market at the time. The idea of these pop-up stores were not as common in the 1980s and 1990s as it is today, but Joseph Marver had tapped into a growing trend. Over the next several years, Spirit Halloween expanded throughout the U.S., opening more temporary stores each Halloween season. These pop-up locations were typically set up in vacant retail spaces, often in malls and strip malls, that would otherwise sit unused. This allowed the company to operate with a relatively low overhead compared to year-round retailers. In 1999, the retail giant Spencer's Gifts.
Oh, yeah.
Do you wonder what they got their hands in?
Oh, yeah.
They got their hands right up in Spirit Halloween.
That all makes sense.
They took notice of Spirit Halloween's rapid growth and purchased the company under Spencer's ownership. Spirit Halloween began expanding aggressively. By the early 2000s, the number of stores increased significantly, and the company began establishing itself as the go-to source for Halloween costumes and decorations. This is an example where everyone's like Amazon or online kind of takes over, but there's something about going to a costume store and being able to get all these things where, obviously online is always going to be more, but I think this is an example where a storefront really thrives more so than ordering it online, even though Spirit Halloween has an online presence.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, it speaks to like the need, you know, knowing, and I mean, also Spencer Gifts is like the year-round Halloween spirit store, if you think about it. But you're not, a lot of the time the people that are buying things from these places need them for that night. It's a timeliness of it that online retail can't really speak to yet, and hopefully won't ever, because that's scary.
I don't know if you've experienced this. I feel like everyone has, where you decide on a Halloween costume. You don't realize you need a Halloween costume to the last minute.
Yeah.
And you need to go, and it needs to be tactile. You need to like kind of feel it and see it.
So you think about Halloween culture and like it's people, they're going out, they don't know what their plans are. There's such a kind of spontaneity to Halloween events that, yeah, you're not going to wait for something. Like many people will like get their costume months early or whatever. They're like fucking crazy Halloween enthusiasts. But most of the rest of us, we don't think about it till the day before, and you're like, oh shit, I need a red wig. All right.
You want to just be a sexy tax preparer.
That's right.
Anything for the tax people.
Anything for the tax people.
One of the most remarkable aspects of Spirit Halloween's business model is its reliance on temporary storefronts.
Mm-hmm.
The wake of something that failed, they thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. It is very parasitic. I bet though, if there were no storefronts, they'd have like a van or something. They'll find a way. Life finds a way.
Yeah, there'll be like pop-ups aren't uncommon.
Yeah, not to say, I mean, especially in this economy. I mean, my whole block, is maybe 20% empty. So they're doing great with finding real estate.
By leasing vacant spaces on short-term basis, the company avoids the costs associated with year-round leases, enabling it to operate over 1,400 locations during the Halloween season while closing them down shortly thereafter. The model became even more crucial in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis.
Mm-hmm.
When many malls and shopping centers were left with vacant properties due to store closures, Spirit Halloween capitalized on this by filling these spaces with pop-up shops, further cementing its dominance in the Halloween retail market. With its parent company, Spencer's, Spirit Halloween also grew its product offering to include more high-end and unique costumes, as well as expanding its line of props, animatronics, and decor. The stores became not just a destination for shoppers, but for Halloween enthusiasts looking to create haunted houses and spooky displays.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
More after this spooky break.
Ooh.
As the number of locations grew, Spirit Halloween became more than just a store. It became a yearly tradition. The sight of Spirit's Halloween familiar black and orange signage popping up, it becomes an inside joke after a while.
Absolutely. Well, you think about how embedded it is in the culture because we get all those like joke Spirit Halloween costumes where it's like average white woman costume. It's already kind of being talked about online far before Halloween season. We're ready for it.
And Spirit Halloween is now part of the zeitgeist, part of culture. There's a movie, Spirit Halloween, the movie.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's
Does
not.
It take place in?
It's not from Spencer's. It's a movie made around Spirit Halloween.
It's not a branded content.
Yeah, they're just the subject of it. Obviously, a lot of memes and inside jokes.
Sure. Yep.
Now, despite its growth, Spirit Halloween has faced some challenges, particularly as competition in the Halloween retail space has increased.
Mm-hmm.
Other temporary retailers like Party City's Halloween City, and Halloween Express, and they're a year-round Party City,
Party City.
So they might have that behind them where they're like, we function year-round and we can inject because they'll have like some Halloween stuff, but they'll lean into it during the Halloween season.
Yeah, that makes sense.
During the non-Halloween season time, there's no cost. They have seasonal labor to run their stores. Their inventory doesn't expire. Yeah. The only expenses they have during the off season is to pay the executives to plan for next Halloween. So most of the money is going. Take away the 6 weeks, it's the other 10 and a half months is where the money is paying people to be like, what are we doing next year?
I know. What sexy tax preparer reissue do we want upcoming? What a cushy job to be a Spirit Halloween executive.
In the most recent episode of Saturday Night Live, I think probably the most entertaining thing of the whole episode, not to get into that because who cares, video on Spirit Halloween. Pretty funny, kind of hits it, like it hits all the tropes. And Spirit Halloween hits back. Yeah.
You can't badmouth Spirit Halloween without any repercussions.
They get Saturday Night. I'm not here to say Saturday Night Live could be not great. Could be very corny. Couldn't be very funny. It's just ever evolving. It's their 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
But Spirit Halloween is like, oh, you think you're funny?
Oh, no.
Industry that's been around for 50 years.
We
We're gonna
make
hit you.
plastic costumes.
Yeah. What's great is they, you've probably seen the memes where it's a Spirit Halloween thing, and it's,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, like 51-year-old
No, exactly.
podcaster.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Those are everywhere.
Well, they have one, and they made one for Saturday Night Live.
Ooh.
It's the SNL 50 costume. Irrelevant 50-year-old TV show costume.
Mm.
It's pretty relevant.
It's still pretty relevant,
It's
I would say.
I'd say it's pretty to say.
What
it's
is the visual of that costume, though, too? Is it
There's
just
nothing,
like...
it's just a sign.
Oh, okay,
It's just
okay.
a sign.
All right.
But here's what it includes. Dated references.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about modern politics a lot.
Yeah.
They occasionally have things, but they're pretty, like, relatively on it. I mean, what you're saying is then that Spirit Halloween is dated because you're commenting on a video they made about you.
Yeah.
So are you dated?
You're double dated.
Yeah.
That I'll give that to him, though.
Okay.
I'll give it to him.
Unknown cast members? I mean, is that... They have these pretty huge stars on the show. I mean, Gene Smart was the host.
Yeah.
Chaperones perform.
Yeah, but even the cast members themselves are pretty famous.
For the most part. I mean, I don't think that's the fair to... It's not like, remember in 1998 when Leonardo DiCaprio was in the cast?
Mm-hmm.
It's always been people that you didn't hear of until you heard of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's their
nature
platform.
of the... Yeah,
it's like
the
you take
nature of it.
unknowns and they become stars, though.
Shrinking ratings. I mean...
I can't speak to that because I don't watch it.
Again, I think these things are not really relevant to SNL so much. I think there's probably other ways they could have done that, because if all those things were true, you wouldn't be commenting on this. You know, if the ratings were so like, you'd be like, oh, I never even heard of what they did to us. But it was like pretty, because the internet, that breathes new life into it.
Yeah.
So they clapped back in there. I'm sure they were extremely proud.
I'm sure the people who wrote that were getting paid $20 an hour, who work for 5 hours a month.
Yes.
And get no benefits. So can we really blame them for not having like totally top tier comedy? Of course not.
Sure. You're injecting some economy into, and that's good to these probably very flammable costumes.
Yeah, very flammable. I mean, they will dissolve into your skin.
I mean, in the SNL sketch, I'm going to spoil it for you, but it was like, this Taylor Swift costume was blonde singing woman or singing blonde woman. And then like an Oompa Loompa was Candy Slave. It was pretty funny. Candy Slave is pretty funny as picture.
We're at this point in the podcast where we start telling you about sketches we've seen on TV.
Yeah, but this is from the Spirit Halloween.
Yeah. It's all germane.
From its humble beginnings as a single Halloween store in 1983 to a vast network of over 1,400 pop-up locations, Spirit Halloween has become the defining feature of the modern Halloween season. By capitalizing on a unique business model, adapting to changing retail trends, and cementing its place in pop culture, Spirit Halloween has solidified its status as the largest Halloween retailer in North America.
Wow.
Why can't they do this? I mean, is there other things besides like Christmas that you could do this for?
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I guess.
President's Day. Veterans Day.
We have plenty of stores for that. I guess it's called Walmart, right?
Okay.
As each fall rolls around, its presence serves as a reminder of the spookiest season.
I'm getting emotional as you talk about this, like the great American dream.
As each fall rolls around, its presence serves as a reminder that the spookiest season is just around the corner.
I thought you were going to say inside our hearts.
Nope, inside our wallets.